Part 5, Section 2, Chapter 6 of Short History of the Christian Church by John Fletcher Hurst. This recording is in the public domain. Chapter 6, The Protestant Episcopal Church. The Revolution left the Episcopal Church stranded like a wrecked ship on the beach. Thousands of her clergy and laity were loyal to King George, and for this they were exiled from their parishes, and their churches broken up. 1,100 left Boston in a single day, and 10,000 left New York at the time of the evacuation by the English troops. It was by these exiles that the Church of England in Nova Scotia and the other provinces of Canada received such large and honorable accessions. It is their descendants who are largely responsible for fostering the imperial feeling in Canada, and thus preventing that great country from achieving its noble destiny as an independent nation. The loyal clergy of the Revolution were whipped, banished, and persecuted in every possible way, and their churches torn down and burned. The grandfather of Dr. Frederick H. Hedge opposed the appeal to arms on the part of the colonists, though in other respects a sturdy patriot. "Whereupon he was hustled from Warwick to Northampton jail, and got his death by exposure and abuse." A saving remnant, however, brought the Episcopal Church out of its degradation, and started it upon its honorable career as a distinctively American church. William White was the first chaplain of Congress, and it was in an Episcopal church, St. Paul's in New York, that the first religious services were held after the inauguration of Washington, April 30th, 1789, as completing the consecration, and which were attended by the President and the Houses of Congress in their official capacity. The first meeting for the organization of the Church was held in New Brunswick, New Jersey, in May, 1784. What might be called the first General Convention was held in Philadelphia in 1785, when a prayer book was drawn up which was the result of a most thoroughgoing Arminianizing, or rather Pelagianizing, of the Book of Common Prayer. The innovations were so startling that it was not till the Nicene Creed was restored that the English bishops would consent to extend fellowship to the American Church. In 1786 the necessary Act of Parliament was passed, and on February 4th, 1787, William White and Samuel Provost, two American ministers elected for the purpose, were consecrated bishops in Lambeth Chapel. Previously, on November 14th, 1784, Samuel Seabury, representing the High Church sentiments of the Episcopal reaction in Connecticut, had been made bishop by the non-juring bishops of Scotland. At the General Convention of 1789, the Prayer Book of 1785 was thrown overboard, and a more conservative version attempted. Even now the liberal element was strong. The Athanasian Creed was rejected by an almost unanimous opinion. The use of the words in the Apostles' Creed, "He descended into hell," was made optional, as was also the sign of the cross in baptism, and the old form of absolution in the office of the visitation of the sick was left out. In this critical period, great praise is due to William White, one of the most illustrious names in American church history, "to whose rare wisdom, prudence, and conciliatory spirit the American church owes more than to any other formative agency." The later development of the Episcopal Church has given it an honorable part in the sanctification of American life. Its missionary spirit has carried it to all parts of the country, and, in always standing for dignity and beauty in public worship, for an educated clergy, and for conservative methods of evangelism, it has exercised great influence on the religious tone of the country. The Catholic position it occupied many years ago, shown by exchange of pulpits with ministers of other denominations, it has, however, long since abandoned, and it now lives in exclusion, denying the ecclesiastical rights of all other Protestant bodies. Chapter 7.